world is divided over the greatest rivalry of the last 20 years. Who will win?
We're not talking about defamation trials. We're talking about Versus, a show about movie battles. Hey, what's up, guys? It's Clint. I am back for another episode of Versus, where we do movie battles. That's right. We're back, and we have a good one for you this week. We're talking about Johnny Depp versus Aquaman. Amber Heard? Wait, that's not Aquaman. Well, that's the best we could do. We wanted to do a Johnny versus Amber show, and so we are doing Pirates of the Caribbean versus Aquaman. Let's do it. Let's talk about it. Before we can do that, holy crap, man. Before we can do that, I got to get my boy Curtis in here. Curtis, how you doing? I caught you snoozing on the job. What were you doing over there, looking at your phone?
Yeah, I'm watching this video of this guy pull this, like, leech or something out of this lady's thumb.
Hey, dude, do you know we're doing a show right now? I don't know.
Well, I was thinking next week we could do leech thumb versus, I don't know, something.
Okay, now. All right. Let's see here. Well,
I'm doing great, man. It's Friday night. I'm happy to be here.
Curtis, it's good to see you, man. Tonight we got two fantastic shows that we're going to be talking about. Movies, rather. And before we get into that, guys, do me a favor. Hit the like button. Give us a like right now. Subscribe if you're not a subscriber to the channel. We come in here every Friday. We do movie battles, and we have fun doing it. And we're glad to have you here. Today, again, we have Pirates of the Caribbean versus Aquaman. And this will be a fun one because these are both fun movies. So, let's talk a little bit about these movies. What we're going to do first is we're going to give you a synopsis of these films, and then we're going to go into game time, and we're going to go over several different things like who had the best cast, which one was a better looking film, and we're going to discuss these things, and we're going to figure out once and for all who wins, Johnny or Amber. No judge, no jury. We're going to figure it out right here. So, I enjoyed both these movies. They're fun action movies, lighthearted movies. When you're dealing with movies like this, they're mainstream films. These aren't artsy films that are snooty. These are just fun movies for kids, and let's have a good time. Forget about your day at work and enjoy the film. How did you like these movies? You had to watch. We're both busy people. When you got to cram two action movies in 1 week, and go see Doctor Strange in the same week, how did you feel about them?
Yeah, they were good movies for this week. I did have less time because of Doctor Strange too, but it worked out fine. I ended up finishing Pirates right before small screen went on. I'd seen it a ton of times, so it would have been an issue if I had to miss out. But I'm really glad I rewatched it.
First things first, we got Aquaman and Pirates is the first one we're going to talk about. So Pirates is a fun movie. I remember seeing this in the theater and loving this movie. This movie changed the game when it came out. Like, it blew everyone's doors off. Like, Johnny Depp is in this. He is fantastic. His role, the amount of charisma he has in this film is insane. He said he modeled his performance after Keith Richards, which is hilarious, from Rolling Stones, which is hilarious. Right. Yeah. Yeah, Keira Knightley's fantastic. Orlando Bloom's good. Everyone in this. Jeffrey Rush is the perfect pirate. He's unbelievable. Pretty much everyone, and I didn't even remember that Zoe Saldana is in this movie. You know her from all the Marvel movies and every other thing. She's done a whole bunch of movies, but this is so far back. This movie was in 2003. And I didn't even realize she was in this. It's amazing. She looks exactly the same too. Yeah. Honorable mention: Mackenzie Crook, the guy with the wooden eye, and Lee Ehrenberg, his buddy. Those two pirates were awesome. So let's get into it, man. So this Pirates movie, you got Elizabeth Swann, who's played by Keira Knightley as an adult, but it starts out when she's a little girl. She's on a ship with her father and some of the Navy. They find a boy in a shipwreck, and they pull him out of the water, and she goes up, and she's charged with taking care of this boy. And she finds he has a gold medallion, and it's pirate gold. And she ends up taking it because she doesn't want anybody to know that he's a pirate, because she doesn't want him to get in trouble or thrown overboard or whatever. And she hangs on to this. And you fast forward later, she's all grown up. She still has a medallion. Her father gives her a dress to go to a ceremony where this captain, who was the captain of the boat when they found the boy, but he's about to become a Commodore. So she's supposed to go with him to this ceremony. They see Will. Will pops up, who's played by Orlando Bloom. Will is the boy grown up, and he's a blacksmith. And you see them engage for a minute. And she's really taken with him, and it's like really happy to see him. He's being polite and whatnot, but just for a second, you're like, oh, they love each other. And then they have to go, know your place. You're just a blacksmith, and she's the governor's daughter. I don't know if I mentioned that. So they're off to go do their thing. You enter Jack Sparrow. Jack Sparrow shows up he looks like he's commanding a giant pirate ship. And then they pan down. He's on a tiny little dinghy, floats up to the shore, and he's looking for another boat. He had been marooned on an island out in the ocean, out in the Caribbean, and now he's looking for another ship, and then he's going to go get a crew, and he's going to go get the Black Pearl back. Immediately, you fall in love with this character. Jack Sparrow is an amazing character. So he's ship shopping. He steals another ship to get the Interceptor. The Interceptor is the Navy's fastest boat. So he steals this ship, and these people are like... Oh, did I get there? Oh yeah. Well, there's a point at the ceremony. The Commodore tries to talk about marrying Keira Knightley, and she ends up falling off the wall. She's got a corset on. She can barely breathe, which is hilarious, And so Jack Sparrow ends up jumping in, rescuing her. When she's in the water, her gold, she's wearing that medallion. It calls the cursed pirates. Long story short, Jack gets arrested for a second. Then he uses her to escape. He gets out of there. And the pirates attack the dead pirates on the Black Pearl, and they find her. And they're looking for the gold, and then they find out that she says she's Elizabeth Turner. She doesn't give her real name because she's the governor's daughter. If you tell them who you are, you're going to get held ransom or something. And she knows a little bit about pirates. I think she's well-read in pirate lore, and she tells them she wants to parlay. So there's a pirate code, apparently, and I'm just whizzing through this, and then we're going to get into the questions, and we'll get into some real conversations. There's a pirate code for the cursed pirates and all that, and basically, when you say you want to parlay, you have to go talk to the pirate captain. So they take her, they're like, okay, let's go talk to the captain, and she's gone, all right? Will goes and frees Jack Sparrow because they need to go rescue her, and he needs him to do that. So he busts him out of jail. They do a thing called the underwater trick, that I named it, but that cracked me up in this movie, where they take a boat and they're running underneath the boat, and you're like, what are they going to do? They're going to take the boat to the ship? No, they're underwater. They made an air pocket with the boat. I thought that was hilarious. That was great. Yeah, it's a great trick. Then they go try to steal this boat, and these people are like, you fools, you need more than 2 people to man this boat. They get kicked off the boat. Next thing you know, the Navy comes over to get them, and the Interceptor, they all board to fight these pirates, and they do the switcheroo where they end up on the Interceptor and they're like, hey, thanks for getting her ready for me, and take off in the Navy's fastest boat. It was a switcheroo. They didn't want that boat. They wanted the Interceptor. You see? Because the Interceptor is the only one that has a chance of even getting close to catching the Black Pearl. And that is Johnny's main goal in this, is to get the Black Pearl, not necessarily get Elizabeth Swann. So, all right. So they get not Elizabeth. I got some notes here. So they get the whole goal of this is, what you find out is that these pirates are cursed. And they reveal this on the ship when they walk into the moonlight. You can actually see that they're dead pirates. I was like, zombie pirates? It doesn't get better than that. Sign me up. So you got these zombie pirates, and they want to get rid of this curse. Barbossa, played by Jeffrey Rush, he wants to taste apples again. You know? I mean, he just wants to be a pirate with a lot of gold and eating apples. He doesn't want to be dead. And so the deal is, you need pirate blood. You need every piece of gold that was taken from this Aztec treasure to go back to the treasure, or Mayan treasure, and go back to needs to be put back, plus a sacrifice of blood. So they need the blood of Bootstrap Bill Turner, and they believe that Elizabeth Swann is Elizabeth Turner. They think it's the daughter of Bootstrap Bill. And they think that they're going to cut her hand and drip some blood, and they're going to stop the curse. Well, they try to do that, and the curse isn't broken. Why? Because Will Turner is the one they're looking for. They just didn't know it. And Will Turner shows up and ends up volunteering. They show up and rescue her from the cove, and they end up out in a boat. They end up getting caught, and then Will Turner, basically gives himself up and is like, okay, just take me, let her go. And so they let her go with Jack Sparrow on an island in the middle of the Caribbean. Jack is like, hey, I was this island before. Goes over, knows where the stash of rum is, and proceeds to get drunk, which is great. She starts drinking with him. It's a big fake out. She's not really drinking. She maybe drank a little, but she wants him to crash out so she can light all this stuff on fire. And the reaction from Jack Sparrow when they're burning the rum is hilarious. Did you? What? Yeah, but the rum!
Not the rum!
Not the rum! Yeah, but with the fire, they're going to see us. They're going to come. But the rum! He just keeps saying, but the rum! Yeah, and it's really funny. She's like, are you kidding? That fire is, the smoke, it's more than 1,000 feet high. They're going to be here any minute. The whole Royal Navy's looking for me. He's like, yeah, but the rum. And what's hilarious is in about 45 seconds, the Navy pulls up to rescue him. Of course.
He says, well, after that, Jack said, once he sees the Navy pulling up, he's like, there'll be no living with her now. She's never going to let this one go.
Nope. So they get rescued. And the other thing is, now Will is over with the pirates. So they're like, we have to go back for Will. And they're like, yeah, right. We're not going for him. Who cares? He's a blacksmith. And so she accepts the proposal of the Commodore on the condition that he goes to rescue Will. And so, okay. So then they say, okay, they're Jack Sparrow, tell these guys how to get to where we need to go. And so, and then spend the rest of the trip being quiet is basically what they tell them. So they go to rescue Will. They catch the pirates. Whole bunch of fighting ensues. In the middle of the fight, and these were some good fights in this movie, by the way. The choreography is fun. The action is fantastic. This whole movie is just riddled and sprinkled with little nuggets of funny, quirky, humorous things. And you know, there's some movies that annoy me because I feel like it's supposed to be serious, and then there's a moment, like I think Aquaman has a moment like that to where a guy gets bonked in the head and it's like, boop, woo, 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 woo. And I'm like, no, that's not the kind of movie where you're supposed to see the birds flying around your head. But this movie is, and they, they don't go over the top with it, but it's just fun and quirky, and I really enjoy the feel of this movie. Let's see here. So they they catch the pirates, and Jack, in the middle of a fight scene, steals a piece of the gold. So even if they were to get his blood, there would be a piece missing, and they don't have to lose their immortality, because they're immortal. They can't be killed. So if you control when they are able to be killed, you've got some control of the situation, and that's essentially what they do here. And so they fight, and they're like, you can't kill me. And next thing you know, he tosses the gold back, drops it in there with a bit of his blood on it, and then boom, all of a sudden they're mortal. And he's been saving this last bullet since he's been marooned. He's been saving that for Jeffrey Rush, who's Barbossa, and he got to use it on him, and it's like, yes. So they win. Next thing you know, they're back, and Jack Sparrow is going to be hung by the Navy. What the hell? Typical to do that to the bad guys. Oh, you're going to hang Jack Sparrow, are you? Will swoops in and saves him. Elizabeth chooses Will and Jack over the governor and the Commodore, and so they say, you know what? Let's just let them go. And like the governor and Commodore, and I thought it was interesting that the Commodore was like, wow, she doesn't want me. I don't want her. I thought it was going to be some kind of, typically in movies you get some kind of bitter guy. This guy was like, you know what? I don't want that. If you don't want me, I don't want you either. It's okay. And then he was kind of like, it was obvious that Will and
I'm the Commodore. What?
Yeah, but it was obvious that she and Will loved each other, and he's like, you know what? You make a fine sword. Take care of her as good as you make swords, because he did respect the guy. He's like, you're a fine craftsman. You made this sword. Please take care of her as well as you would, your sword making. Let's see. Jack escapes. Yeah, basically Jack escapes with the pearl. There's a happy ending. The governor's daughter ends up with the pirate blacksmith. I think this movie's a masterpiece. You know what I mean? If you could put aside any Hollywood headlines and any other BS out there, and you look at this movie as a fun action family movie, they don't get better than this movie. This is a timeless movie, and it's just fantastic. I don't know how they could have made it better. Unbelievably entertaining, amazing action, amazing comedy, a beautiful love story that you could see the love between them. When anytime they're in the same scene together, you could see they were just the admiration is right there. Anti-hero in Jack Sparrow that you could fall in love with. You thought he was cool and funny. You wanted to be that guy and hang out with him. And the villain, Barbossa, you couldn't make a better pirate. I don't see how. I love this movie, and I'm glad I got to. I hadn't seen it since it was in the theater, so I'm glad we watched it again. Curtis, I just went on telling this long synopsis. What did you think about this movie overall? We don't have to get nuts because we're going to go into the specifics here in a minute. But what did you think? And then we'll ask the chat.
So whenever we were talking about this movie, I was kind of like, so I have seen this movie a lot. I don't know about, it's not one of my every year movies, but I watched it again not too long ago. Kind of put it on for the kids too. They kind of dug it in and out. But like, I was kind of like, all right, okay, we'll watch Pirates again. But just watching it again, like, and really sitting down and watching it, because whenever I put it on for the kids, I kind of watched it with them. Oh, this is a good part, and I was doing something, oh, check this out, But sitting down and actually watching it reminds you of how good of a movie this is, how good all the portrayals are, but of course Johnny's is the best. I mean, even if they hadn't made any sequels, I think this would have been his quintessential role. He's done so many great characters like Edward Scissorhands and all the other ones that. But to this, even if it didn't have 5 sequels or whatever it is, this would have been his. He nails this so much.
Oh yeah,
and he makes the movie. I'm very glad we decided to do this one. The action's great, comedy's great. Effects still 2003 effects still hold up. I mean,
yeah,
and just the idea is so cool too. Like I met that curse. Like everybody wants to live forever, but they're not living; they're just staying alive.
Yeah,
imagine that. Everything that's enjoyable about life, you don't get to have. You just get to stay alive. Like that's awful. It's just. So
they really put that, like, drive that home, and just Barbossa's like infatuation with apples, like just a simple thing, like wanting an apple is like a curse. You know what I mean? Like it's a curse for him.
An apple, something so simple to us. Like
yeah. All right. Well, now let's talk about Aquaman. Aquaman is a fun comic book movie. It's a little bit quirkier and like a little bit kiddier than a lot of Marvel movies and stuff. It's still a good time. Tamara Morrison is in this, Boba Fett, for those who don't know, and he's a lighthouse keeper. He finds a
more like Book of Boba Fish. You know what I'm saying? Book of Boba Fish over here.
He finds Nicole Kidman, washes up to the shore, and he brings her in to help her out. Turns out she's not just an ordinary lady in a crazy outfit. She is an Atlantean, and throws a trident through his TV. I thought it was funny too when he picks up her body. She's unconscious and she's gripping that trident. She doesn't let go of the trident. I'm like, come on, man. They should have had him pick up the trident and then carry her. But no, her unconscious body is not letting go of that trident. That's just how it goes. Which you see later in the film when the king is his body is gripping tight to the trident too. So apparently that's an Atlantean power. Is when you're unconscious, you still hold the trident up. But he nurses her to health. They fall in love. They have Arthur, which is the first Atlantean human hybrid, half Atlantean, half human. The Atlantean guards come in, and they have a fight. And basically, Nicole Kidman destroys the house. Like I don't know if you noticed that, but in seconds, they've destroyed this entire house. That's lighthouse, and it's like, man, poor guy, man.
Well, lighthouse keepers make bank, so he'll be fine.
Do they?
I don't know.
I don't think so. Yeah, so the house is totaled, and they return her to King Orvax. Now, she's bequeathed to King Orvax. It just is a cool, like, it was an accident that she washed up. He found her. They ended up being from 2 different worlds and falling in love and made a baby. And yeah. And so then they show Arthur getting bullied a little later. They're in an aquarium, and the kids are bullying Arthur, and he's over talking to the fish. And so they're like, "Hey, nerd!" And next thing you know, all the fish in the ocean come over and start including a giant shark and scare the hell out of the kids. And that's how they let you know, hey man, Arthur can talk to fish, which was always the lamest superpower when I was a kid. You know what I mean? I was like, dude talks to fish. I've heard comedians go off on this rant, but it's true. You know what I mean? Like when you're a kid on the playground, like Jason Momoa, super charismatic in this role. They needed that to make this work, because when I was a kid, when you're picking superheroes to be on the playground, you're not picking Aquaman. Like Aquaman was never cool in my at least with my friends. You know what I mean?
Whenever they're bullying him, otherwise he's like, "Oh yeah, let's go to the aquarium. What's up?" Like they're at the park and it's like, "No, let's handle this at the aquarium." And they're like, "No, dude, we're not gonna do that again."
Yeah, we did that last time. You you scared us with a shark. That's not cool. So then enter Yahya Abdul Mateen, who's a pirate who ends up being Black Manta. Him and his dad are pirates, and they've been hired. You'll find out later. They've been hired to steal this submarine because they need a submarine for some reason. They're in there getting the submarine, and Aquaman shows up, saves the day, interrupts the submarine heist. Black Manta's dad dies, and Aquaman has the choice to save him. Like he could have saved him, but he chose not to. And he's like, pirates are bad. They hurt people. You can die as far as I'm concerned. Leaves him there. I got to hit happy hour. Gets out of there. And he comes back to, and that turns into a lesson it turns into a lesson later. And that he has where he tells Mara that we're about to talk about, I chose to let this guy die. And because of that, I made an enemy. And now this enemy can hurt you, and that's because of something that I did, which is kind of a good lesson, I think, for kids and everyone else in the world. Like, you should always try and do the right thing, I think, and because it's always going to come back on you. At least that's how I was raised. So, Aquaman lets Black Manta's dad die. Aquaman goes out drinking with his dad. A bunch of bikers come over to start a fight. Not really. They want his autograph. He ends up partying with the bikers, and again, he's just a likable dude. Jason Momoa, if you ever seen him in an interview, he just seems like a cool dude. You know what I mean? Like, and again, I think that's what they needed to make this role work, this character work. You know. So Aquaman drinks with dad, tons of charisma. All of a sudden, you're like, dude, this guy's awesome. We find out Orm hired the pirates to attack. Orm is Aquaman's half-brother. He's got a big chip on his shoulder because when Aquaman's mom went back, she had to go back. She got taken back with the guards, and she left Aquaman and his dad. She went to keep them safe. She knew the Atlantean soldiers would come back and hurt them, so she wanted to keep them safe. She voluntarily went back. Then she got banished to the trench, the deep, dark trench, and her son, her other son, Orm, he was always angry and bitter about that. So he doesn't like Aquaman at all because of that. He blames him. He's like, because of you, half-breed, mom got banished to the trench. And he also is ambitious and wants to attack the land. He wants to attack us, and they give a little lesson about all of the trash and waste and stuff that's dumped into the oceans. We're going to send that back to the humans, and we're going to attack them with all of our force. So, but he's got a scheme. There are 4 different factions. There are some mutated people, Atlanteans. There's some other Atlanteans that are commanded by Ivan Drago, the Russian from Rocky IV, who is the king. I'm talking about Dolph Lundgren. You don't mess with Dolph Lundgren, folks. Just in case. Did you ever hear? Not to go off on a rant, but did you ever hear? Actually, just remind me. Remind me in a moment, because I don't want to go off. I want to finish the synopsis, right, and then we can talk with the chat. But remind me to tell you the Dolph Lundgren story. But anyway, Dolph Lundgren. We need that king, Dolph Lundgren. We need the hybrid fish Atlantean people, and there's another kingdom. People, I think it's the people in the trench. You need everybody to agree on one ocean master, and his Orm's. He rules one of the kingdoms. His plan is, I'm going to get this guy to agree to work with me. I'm going to overwhelm these other people, and we don't mess with the trench people. But I think if I can get a majority, I can be the ocean master, and that's his big plan. And to get Dolph Lundgren on board, he has the submarine attack them. So it appears that the humans are attacking the Atlanteans. So like, yeah, we got to bind together. Look, I'll go ahead and join forces with you because we got to get those humans. And that's kind of what he did. Then later it shows him paying the Black Manta, giving him some gold. At this point, he's pissed because Aquaman let his dad die. He's like, I don't even want the money. I want Aquaman. And so, which comes in handy later. So, yeah, let's see here. So Mara shows up. Mara shows up and asks Aquaman for help. Asks Arthur for help. He's like, no, me and my drunk dad are going to go home. I don't want to help you. Leave me alone, good-looking redhead. I got to get out of here. And so then they go. So then on the drive home, it turns into like an episode of Twister, like the movie Twister. It's like there's a giant tidal wave, and they're basically running from the tornado, except it's a tsunami. And like next thing you know, they get overwhelmed by the giant wave. Mara shows up, opens a pocket in the water because Mara can control water. That's her power. And then sucks the water out of Dad, saving his life. Now he's obligated. Now he's got to help. She just saved Dad. All right. They go to Atlantis to try and find a magic spear. Arthur gets caught. He agrees to a Royal Rumble combat against his jealous brother in the Ring of Fire. Basically, it's an episode of Underwater Gladiator in front of all the people of Atlantis. Aquaman gets his mom's trident broken and gets his ass kicked at the very last second. Before he's about to get killed, Mara swoops in, kidnaps him. Mara is actually engaged to Orm, the half-brother, who's pissed off. They take off and escape and fake their deaths. They end up going to the Sahara. Basically, also, Willem Dafoe is the right-hand man of Orm. He has been training Arthur his whole life. So you got, like, his right-hand man is in cahoots with Aquaman, and so is his fiance is also in cahoots with Aquaman. Now he's really pissed at Aquaman. So... long story short, they end up going on a quest. They need a magic spear that won't break like the one that was his mom's, and only the true king can hold the spear. And so they go on a quest through the desert. They have kind of a campy back and forth in the desert where it's just like, oh, it reminded me of like Mummy or something, where it was like, oh, where they start having an argument in the desert. Oh, we're lost in the desert now. Blah blah blah. Like, woo 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 woo. You know, I mean, it was kind of campy. They fall into the middle of the desert into this chamber. She sucks some water out of his head and uses it to activate an Atlantean device. They get the map to go find the real trident. They end up going, they get attacked by several Atlanteans, and there's some really fun action sequences that happen. There's some running on rooftops. There's a lot of things that make you say, damn, Mara's badass. I really like the rooftop chase scenes in this. At some point, the king who wants to be Ocean Master gives some prototype Atlantean tech and armor to the Black Manta, and he makes a cheesy looking costume with a big giant head that has plasma cannons that can turn water into plasma blasts. And they go and they try to defeat Aquaman and Mara and end up losing. They end up going into they're trying to escape. They end up going to the trench, and next thing you know, the scary trench that James Wan was supposed to make a movie about. We end up seeing what this is, and it's basically a bunch of like evil-looking creatures. They end up going through this weird portal. End up in a magic island where they find Mom. They go over, fight the Kraken. It's not what it's called, but that's what we're going to call it. Fight the Kraken. And, of course, Arthur can talk to fish. So it's like, oh, you can understand me? And he's like, yes, I can understand you. I speak fish. And he's like, cool. well, you could try to get the trident if you want, but only the true king can hold it. He goes, gets the trident. It works. Now he's the king. Goes back, has a battle with Orm's brother, and right when it's almost over, Mom shows up and says, I'm your mother and I love you and you've been misguided, but now, we're back together again. And they say, hey, give him a jail cell with a window. And then next thing you know, Aquaman's there. So that was a condensed version of that movie. Yeah. So, to end the bloodshed, yeah, at one point they yell, to end the bloodshed, hail King Arthur of Atlantis. Okay. And then they say, we don't need a king. At one point in the movie, they say, we don't need a king. We need a hero. And I was like, okay, that's a corny line. And both of those lines were Nicole Kidman, I'm pretty sure. Your father taught you that there are two worlds, but the land and sea are one. That was another one. I was like, man, there's some corny lines in this movie. It's a little campy, but it was fun. And next thing you know, you have Aquaman wearing a gold suit. He still doesn't have blonde hair, but he's got highlights, so that's okay. He does have highlights. He has highlights, so that makes it okay. So that's the synopsis of Aquaman, Rushed. So Curtis, what did you think about this movie?
I don't know what I think about this movie. It was definitely, I had never seen this first watch for me. I'm not a big DC fan. They've been hit or miss, with a lot of their stuff, movie wise. So in Aquaman, was not a movie I was like waiting for anyway. But it was definitely better than I thought it would be. It was a fun, good movie, but it was pretty damn cheesy. Like there was a lot of cheese in this movie. Like whenever she does, it was a cute scene. She does the little, Mara does the little dolphins jumping for the girl in the fountain. And stuff like that. And then the girl just goes, oh, thank you, and walks away. And then walks up to her parents and brings up a book of Pinocchio and just like gives it to Mara. And Mara's like, hey, you got that plan out of a book? like why did that girl just go give her a book? Like, what the hell's going on here? Like,
she was giving her a present, man.
I mean, there was a lot of cheese in it, but it didn't necessarily take away from the movie. One of the issues I have too is they kind of killed their own premise because they said in the movie, Mara says, only the highborns can breathe air. So they have all these awesome like underwater soldiers with this water thing. We would fucking destroy them. Let them attack. Humans, we would demolish they would be dead.
No way, dude. Tsunamis, man. We would
just win. You know what? We have nukes. Okay, the biggest explosion in human history is it's called the Baker test, baby. And it was an underwater nuke. Water is like 10 times more dense than air. So it was even though it wasn't the biggest nuke, it was the biggest. We would fucking destroy the Atlanteans. Let them attack. We just got to we could beat them with a slingshot, crack their little fucking helmets. Like it's just so stupid. Like, and like half their creatures can't even come out and attack us. Like the sharks are going to be standing on like at the beach going, you better not fucking come over here. Like I'm going to, that got to me. But like if we go to this, like if we're like, hey, let's go swimming in the deep ocean, like we're screwed. But like other than that, we're okay, guys. So that kind of got me. But it's a movie, okay.
They have plasma rays, though. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No, you're absolutely.
We just throw a rock at their helmet, like it breaks their helmet, like. Or yeah, we have machine guns. Just pop, 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 pop. Oh, my glass helmet is broken. If I could just reach my passport. Like he breathes out of a toilet for God's sake. Anyway, but
do you know what they could do to our shipping containers? I mean, we're already having delivery issues as it stands. Game time. This is a part of the show where we ask some questions, we have a conversation, we talk about it, and then we go to the chat and see what they think. And at the end of these questions, this is like a test we've made for movies, for verses, and we're going to see, for instance, who had the better cast, who had the better villain, things like that. So we're gonna go through these, and at the end of it, we will decide once and for all who the winner is. No judge, no jury, just Curtis and I.
I'll talk about Aquaman some more. There was and they're working hard, almost no chemistry that I could find between Momoa and Mara.
I would agree with you on that.
It was just and they were working hard. They did it. It's kind of one of those, you'd see these scenes, it's this should be cute, but it just seems awkward. And seeing him and Khaleesi, or what was that her name? Khaleesi?
Yes.
When she was basically a, sex slave captive, or whatever like that, they still had more chemistry, and it was just, I don't know. I don't know if it was the actress or the part or whatever, but
that just means that Jason Momoa, it's not that he sucks. It's just they didn't have chemistry.
No, I'm not saying.
No, I'm just saying you're listing two different shows. One's a movie, one's a show. But I'm saying the variable is a difference in the actress. So am I saying that Amber Heard sucks? I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I know there's a lot of that online, but right now, but it's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is that some actors just don't have chemistry. So,
but that's my point was that in Game of Thrones, he does. I mean, he acts, of course, but he doesn't say lines. He doesn't do things, and he was still able to have more chemistry with Khaleesi than he was with. All of these scenes that are supposed to invoke, oh, they're falling in love or something like that. It just wasn't there. And I've never seen her in anything, or maybe I have. I just didn't know who she was. So I'm not saying she's a bad actress. It might have just been a bad pairing in general. Another
thing, you mentioned Khaleesi. There's been a lot of people that have wanted her to pick up Amber Heard's role. Hey, let's slap a red wig on her and get her out there and
make her a natural redhead and fix that shit.
Yeah. She's an Atlantean, dude. Atlanteans have bright red hair like that.
Stupid hair.
Yeah. Now it's time for a little game time. Here we go. We got Aquaman versus Pirates. We got some questions. We're going to ask them and we're going to answer them. So let's do this. So the first question is, who had the better story? Which of these shows do you think had a better story, Curtis?
So Aquaman's kind of ripping off Excalibur anyway, or King Arthur. So that's a good story. It's a known quality story, but Pirates was definitely an original story, and it was a damn good one. I mean, for a movie based on a ride. That's what it was, just based on a freaking Disney ride, and they pulled that off. The story was so amazing. It was original, and it's awesome.
I couldn't agree with you more. And also another thing about that is I never knew what was going to happen. You know what I mean? You're on this ride, and there's so many cliches in Hollywood. There's so many formulas that we've seen them. We know at the beginning of the movie who the villain is. You're like, dude, that guy's the killer. Yeah, I mean, it's we've seen about every combination of Rubik's Cube that you could have with movie plots, and we know. And this one, you don't expect it. There's a lot of twists and turns, and it's not confusing. It's not stupid. It's funny and fun. And Aquaman, I thought was a decent story. It was just a little bit campy, but that's not what we're asking here. We're asking about the story. But I think if we had to choose, I think I'm definitely going to have to go with Pirates, because I knew immediately that the Orm character was creating this conflict to get those people on his side immediately. He's behind this right away. You knew it, and then all of a sudden you see him paying the guy off. So I think Pirates is a little more original. So we're gonna put a point down for Pirates. All right, which movie do you think had the better cast?
This one's kind of easy, but I surprised myself. It was definitely Aquaman. I know Pirates had Johnny, but Aquaman had a full star-studded cast. And if you ask me, like, well, who's a better actor than Johnny Depp? There's probably not many people I can name, but Willem fucking Dafoe is one of them.
This is a tough one though. Yeah, I mean you're correct. You're correct. We've got Amber Heard, who played that role well, and Patrick Wilson is a great actor. You got Nicole Kidman. She's a great actress. Like, it's pretty tough to beat her. And Willem Dafoe, Yahya Abdul-Mateen, who's Black Manta. He was in the Candyman recently. If you saw Candyman, that was him. Yeah,
I know I've seen him in other stuff though.
Yeah, he's done a lot of stuff. He's a fantastic actor, but he was recently. Candyman was the last movie that I saw him in, and was like, hey, I like this guy. Dolph Lundgren, you can't beat Dolph Lundgren just because he was in Rocky, you know. You got Tamara Tamara Morrison. Like I'm just glad to see him doing a different job than Boba Fett. Like I liked knowing he's getting work, you know. Because I like the guy. Julie Andrews, come on, like the whole cast. Like everybody in this, and there's a whole another second and third line of cast members that are all good. We're not even gonna go there. We're just gonna go back to Pirates real quick, because at the same time you're busting all that out, but I'm saying, hey man, we've got Johnny Depp. Mm-hmm. We got Keira Knightley, who is fantastic. Keira Knightley is in Pride and Prejudice. She's fantastic. No, she's in a lot of fantastic movies. She's great. She got played out in the 90s. Like now she's showbiz wise is not in her prime. At that time, she was in like Orlando Bloom was in every movie you've ever seen, you know, in the 90s, like, or in early 2000s. Like we got a lot of Keira Knightley. I love Keira Knightley. Jeffrey Rush, dude.
Wait, who was the other person you said?
Orlando Bloom. Orlando Bloom's fantastic too, man.
As Legolas and as this guy, but otherwise,
Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, I said as Legolas.
Yeah,
of course. So those two characters, he's amazing at.
Okay, we're gonna have this conversation now?
But otherwise, like, name another Orlando Bloom movie that's not a Pirates movie or a.
There's a whole bunch of them.
No, I didn't say look up another one.
We're doing this. He was in Troy.
Elizabethtown was fucking awful, Mel. He was in that. I had to go see that in theaters. My wife made me see that. That was fucking. He created a shoe and it was terrible, and so was the movie. But he was in that. Good job. Yeah. I don't remember him in Troy. Who was he in Troy? I remember Vanna. I remember.
He was in Black Hawk Down.
But you're looking it up. I said name.
We're here. It doesn't matter if I'm looking it up. We're talking about real movies. He was in Three Musketeers. He was in The Outpost. He was really good in The Outpost. He was in Troy. He was in Kingdom of Heaven. He was in Carnival Row. I'm just naming stuff off of his IMDb.
I know. You asked me to name a Dolph Lundgren movie. I got you like that, baby.
All right, what do you got?
Well, He-Man, Rocky IV, The Punisher. I mean, any of the Expendables. He was in a really good one that was fairly recent. Oh, well, I can't name it, so it doesn't count.
Uh-huh.
He was in Kindergarten Cop 2. He was in...
Okay, man.
I'm just like...
Well, Orlando Bloom is in a lot of good movies, and I'm just saying you're scoffing him. I mean, it's not 2001.
We're
right?
talking about the cast.
I know, but I'm just saying it's not 2001. So like he's not in all the.
He's not in a Lord of the Rings movie or a Pirates movie.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Exactly. Besides that, Jeffrey Rush, fantastic actor.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Zoe Saldana.
Good point. I forgot about her. That's good.
Yeah, she's fantastic too, and in all kinds of stuff. Do you want me to look up her IMDb?
No, I know. She is. She's she's got it. You win that one.
Yeah, but I still think that the cast of Aquaman outweighs what we got going on in Pirates, even though you got Johnny Depp. You got some heavy hitters in this movie, but
yeah.
I think you got.
And again, we're not talking utilization or anything like that.
Yeah,
but
yeah, I think we're gonna have to go with. I think you're right. As much as I don't like it, I think I'm gonna have to agree with you. I think we're gonna give Aquaman a fish here. All right, which movie do you think was a better looking film? Better with the cinematography and the effects and all that. You know, which one do you think was a prettier film? That's very tough for me to answer because I thought both movies were beautiful. Like, I don't think it's fair to judge the skeletons and the CGI from 2003 and put them up against a 2018 movie. You know what I mean? They're like, but even then the CGI pretty much almost holds up. I don't know. What do you think, Curtis? Which one do you think looked better?
I mean, Aquaman was definitely a feast for the eyes. Water in general is just hard to get right on CGI. So honestly, it was a little more noticeable with Aquaman than it even was with, Pirates. The real locations, although the Mediterranean part in Aquaman was just gorgeous. Like you said, the rooftop scene.
Oh yeah.
And like that whole sequence was great. And just that magic, like I got to go there at some point in my life. That place has just got to be gorgeous. I mean, I'm going to go Pirates. It was noticeable in Aquaman. The CG was. In Pirates, it still held up 20 years later. Yeah. So I'm going to go Pirates.
I think that is a tough one. Which one was a better looking film? I think I'm gonna go Pirates too. And the reason I'm gonna do this is because seeing so much underwater stuff, I think I started to get computer graphics fatigue. You know what I mean? That's
a great way of saying it. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I don't want to see any more whales being ridden by people, and we saw hundreds and hundreds of them.
Yeah.
And they put a lot of effort and did a great job on creating this underwater world, and it was beautiful, and I think they did a great job. I think a little bit of that was fatiguing, and there's a little part of me when I think about the new Avatar that makes me not as excited about going to see it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I will say, like, Avatar does a really cool thing though, where they show really close and you see like the pores and the texture of the skin that makes you say, wow, this looks real. You know, and I'm not saying that they didn't and that it looked fake, but yeah, there's something about me that can only handle so much of that, you know?
Yeah.
So
yeah, when I saw the preview for Avatar or Avatar 2 on before Doctor Strange, I was like, wow. That almost looked like practical effects. That looks great.
Yeah.
Why is the industry still fighting it?
Who had better music? I didn't notice really the musical score on Aquaman.
I was just about to say the same thing. I don't remember it at all. However, Pirates, I bum 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 bum. Yeah. I mean, like it was just. Did Elfman do that? I don't know.
That sounded like Dropkick Murphys. What you were just singing.
It really did, yeah. I wonder if they ripped it and
just tweaked it a little bit.
Yeah.
I think we got to give it to, since neither one of us.
Yeah.
The question is music. I think since neither one of us can remember the music for Aquaman, we're gonna have to say that the Pirates won that. But I will say, as far as sound goes, that. Man, Aquaman had some really cool subsonic, like not subsonic, but low, like sub sounds. Oops. Like whenever he would do the fish talk thing and like it was like a pulsating like boom, and I have a sub and with a sound bar, and you felt it.
Yeah.
That was so cool. I thought that was pretty cool, but well, so the point on this one goes to Pirates. This is a quick one, promise. Which film had better acting?
I'm gonna have to go Pirates on this one. I guess. And not to be mean, but I've kind of realized Momoa is very charismatic. very. Just, like The Rock, or like, you could put him in a lot of these categories. But he's kind of got two faces, mad or confused. That's it. Watch the movie again. And he's either mad or confused. He's like, I love you. And it's like, is he pissed off at her? And he's like, I love you. And it's like, is he confused? What's going on?
Yeah. He's also got the grin, the grin, like the flirty thing that charms everyone. You know what I mean? Where he's just like, my man. Yeah. I'm Momoa. I'm bad. Where he's like, and you just say things like, badass. That guy sucks.
Or I just call it an ass whooping.
Or ass whooping. Kick your ass. You know what I mean? Like, or
it is the eyebrow,
F you. And like, that's it. You know what I mean? Like, we're like, dude, that's like my bro. That's like my bro that I drink beer with in the garage. You know what I mean? Like, that's I want to go hang out with that guy. I want to go shoot pool with that dude. Like, you just like the guy. So, my man. Shots. They're like, yeah, let's do this. All right, yeah. So we got that was another point for Pirates right there. Okay, which one had a better villain?
Oh, that's easy. That's Pirates. Barbossa was so much better. Honestly, I think they should have done more with Black Manta. For me, anytime I watch Justice Friends, he looks so fucking cool, and I'm like, why doesn't he? I want to see that guy do more. And it's the same thing with this movie. Like, fuck yeah, Black Manta, let's go. Like, and it's just like, all right, he had a good fight scene, but that's about it.
They kind of did with him what they did to Taskmaster in you know what I mean? Like, he should have been more significant, but they just made him a henchman, and he just kind of shows up for a little bit, and that's it. It's like, it's kind of wasting a character when you do that. They could have just had any douchebag and not called him Black Manta and give him Atlantean armor.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I feel like maybe they wasted that character. I don't know. But I agree.
He's going to come back. They just saw him showed him fall in the ocean. I'm sure they'll bring him back. But
well, and I got to say, watching Pirates, looking at Jeffrey Rush, like just watching Jeffrey Rush, there's times I'm like, this guy is an underrated character in this show.
Oh yeah.
Like, I think everybody knows he's great, but I mean, he's like, he makes it look easy. You know what I mean? Like, you got Johnny Depp that's doing an over the top character, blah blah blah, and it's like, oh, it's one of those things where, it's like when you watch Beetlejuice and it's like, hey, blah 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 blah. It's like an over the top character. It's easy to recognize how amazing Michael Keaton is at Beetlejuice.
Right.
It's easy to recognize how great Johnny Depp is at Captain Jack Sparrow. But Jeffrey Rush was like an over-the-top pirate, but also made it look real and laid back. Somehow, Barbossa is a pretty over-the-top character, but somehow he made it look easy. And I think he should have gotten more props. I don't know if he got nominated for anything in that role, but holy crap, he was awesome. So I just had to say that.
And he was so good too that they they killed him off. I don't know if they were planning sequels, period, when they made the first one, because nobody had known the it wasn't a franchise. And then secondly, they obviously had other plans with the second one. But then they brought him back, and that's how people loved him so much they brought him back.
All right, how about this? Which movie would make a better date movie?
I know that Pirates was a good date movie.
Been there, done that.
Know. Yeah, I don't know if Aquaman was. I know my wife really liked Pirates. And that's, it's Momoa versus Depp. Older ladies are probably like, oh, Depp. Younger ladies are probably like, oh, there's Momoa. Yeah. I'm
gonna say Pirates, man. I think I feel like Aquaman is one of those movies where I would be asked, what's happening in the movie? You know what I mean? They're going down to the trench. Wait, are these two on the same team? Wait, what's happening? I feel like I even got bored the first time I saw that movie and kind of daydreamed a little bit to where I had to pay attention to what was happening exactly. You know what I mean? So I'm going to go with Pirates. So
yeah, I have to go with Pirates.
Which movie deserves a sequel more. You got to forget that there's several other pirate movies, pirates movies. Think about just this as the first one. I mean, you got to think they just built up Aquaman like we've got a hero now. Now it's to the point where like cool. Well, they've laid the foundation. Now they can start making some cool Aquaman movies where he goes out and like rescues submarines and does cool Aquaman stuff. He's basically the Superman of the ocean. It's like a Superman movie where you're like, hey, there he is, getting a cat out of the tree, saving a submarine from a whatever. You know what I mean? Like it's basically what they did in the beginning, except he was doing it as a drunk. Like now he controls all the fish. He can be Aquaman. It's like we are primed for some good Aquaman.
So you just reminded me. It's kind of the same argument, and it is relevant because Jason Momoa is Hawaiian, but I think it was the first time we went to Hawaii. They were talking about Don Ho. Don Ho is a great musician if you haven't heard him, but the tour guide was like, yeah, something about Don Ho, and he's like, Don Ho is basically the Elvis of Hawaii. And I was like, I thought Elvis was the Elvis of Hawaii, and he's like, well, yeah, but like so whenever you're like, he's basically the Superman of the ocean. It's like, well, Superman's the Superman of the ocean. It's like, yeah, but shut up, okay. So I'm very interested to see the Aquaman sequel. I do want to see what they do with the character, because I think with Momoa in it they can do a lot more. But after seeing Johnny Depp get his boat, because it was basically a love story between Johnny Depp and his boat as well, as much as it was about Orlando Bloom.
Absolutely,
he got his boat back. He was just so happy, and seeing what happens from there. If I didn't know anything else, I'd probably still want to see the Pirates sequel more.
I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to go with Pirates. I think Johnny Depp, that was a game changer role. And at the time, if I put myself back at that time, I would have been more excited to see Pirates.
Think about it. It started people fucking dressed like pirates for like 10 years. Like it was a thing. Like nobody dressed like Aquaman. Like people like literally walked around town just dressed up like pirates. Like
that should have been my that was a thought for one of my questions. Which one would you want to be for Halloween? And that was the thing. People, like who?
Not Halloween. Just regular life. Just dressed like pirates. You remember that?
Yeah.
You'd be at the bar and there'd be like a fucking group of pirates just walk in and like, all right, this is happening.
I know two of those people. Yeah. And there was a guy that lived in the apartment complex where I lived, and he looked a lot like Captain Jack Sparrow. He had the eyeliner and the works, dude. People would call him Sparrow.
Nobody's going to know this but us, but the Jolly Garagers were like on Jimmy Kimmel or something, weren't they?
I think so. It's a local band of pirates. That's crazy. Yeah. Which movie had better stunts and fight choreography? Now, this is a serious question here because there's some serious swashbuckling, sword fighting, crazy planks getting stepped on, and guys getting thrown up in the air, landing on a thing, people swinging on ropes and flying off of walls and landing on pirate ships and swinging up to the top of the I mean, there's all kinds of crazy choreography and stunts in this movie. At the same time, you got trident fights and all kinds of running and leaping from rooftop to rooftop. All kinds of, there's a crazy action in both movies. It's really difficult to get a winner for this one.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
With Aquaman, again, the rooftop scene it's
really good.
Like you were saying, it's probably one of the best scenes of the movie. But there's the showdown fight, and there are other ones, but like kind of like we were talking about earlier, there's so much CG fatigue. It's kind of hard to tell how much of it is actual fight choreography or
drawn in. Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. That is a fantastic point. And dude, that scene with the rooftop where Amber Heard's running, Mara's running on the rooftop, and there's a guy in Atlantean armor chasing her. And I love that he's running on the floor in the building below her and shooting up to the roof, and then she'll jump to a different rooftop, and he'll jump through the wall and through another wall and just keep running. I thought that was really cool. He was keeping up. He was like Kool-Aid Manning from building to building, like, oh yeah, and just go. Yeah, I thought that was super cool scene.
But Pirates is, like you said, there's so much besides the swordplay, and
the swordplay is badass too.
It's amazing. Yeah. and it's happened several times, and it's just two people. It's not. They of course they fight. There's a lot of fights and swordplay with computer skeletons, but at that time it was definitely real actors in motion capture. But even if we didn't know that, like there are a ton of scenes of just straight up two human beings sword fighting, which is real fight choreography. And I really kind of want to give something to Aquaman because it doesn't deserve this ass whooping that it's getting.
No,
but Pirates, it has it.
Dude, every time he just and cut a rope and then get launched up and go and all
they're
that
swinging off of ropes and shit. It's just.
I'm with you. I really want Aquaman to get some points here, but you can't deny what the power of Pirates of the Caribbean. Yeah. Which made you want to get karate lessons more? That's the stupidest question I've ever asked. I'm going to give this one to Aquaman.
You know what? Fish don't know karate.
Yeah, but when they're having the trident duels, he could have used some karate there.
Yeah, all right. Underwater karate?
Yeah. We're going to do underwater karate. We don't have to have good reasoning. We're making the rules on this. We're asking the questions here. I'm going with underwater karate, dude, because swashbuckling doesn't make me want to do karate. But watching some guys with a trident, if he had some karate when they broke his mom's trident in half, dude,
we could have nunchucked that shit.
Exactly.
Wow.
Just because. That's right. So Aquaman finally got the second fish. Thank God.
There you go. Dory's not lonely.
Oh, good. Which one of these would cheer you up more? I mean, it's getting embarrassing.
Yeah, that's Pirates, man.
Pirates, dude, all day.
It made me so happy. Like I was kind of bummed. Like I was like, and I texted Clint. I was like, I've seen Pirates so many times, man. Like, and I didn't know he didn't. I didn't know at the time you hadn't seen it since theaters. So I'm really glad you got to rewatch it.
Me too. Whoa.
But me too. Like this thing, I was like, I guess I'll watch Pirates again. Like not in a bad way, but it's just like, I've seen it so many times, and like it just cheered the shit out of me. It made me so happy just rewatching it, for the 40th time or whatever it is. And it's just such a good movie, and just like I want to act like. And here's the thing too, I was wondering because Johnny Depp makes his own characters, half the time.
Yeah,
he makes characters his own. Like there's certain scenes they either had to reshoot or once they saw Johnny Depp's character, they had to kind of fill in.
They're like making fun of his. Oh, is that why it's kind of weird?
Yeah,
yeah. And I wonder if that was if that was written in or if he just freestyled that and they kept it. You know what I mean?
I want to know if Orlando Bloom was just knocking it out of the park for that one.
Oh, so now you think that Orlando Bloom's a great actor, huh? What about earlier?
I said in these roles.
What has he been in? Orlando Bloom, schmoom,
he is
whatever.
A spectacular William Turner, and he's a wonderful Legolas.
Yes, he was fantastic.
But otherwise,
if you were on a flight and you only could have one of these movies, you only got one movie, which movie is it going to be? That's tough because I just watched them both. Now you're like, hey, maybe I'll give him a fish because I've seen the other one so many times.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I wouldn't mind watching Aquaman again. So if I had to, I'd probably watch Aquaman again.
I think I would go with Pirates. I've seen Aquaman twice, and the second time was enough for me. And that means the last and final point goes to Pirates, which means we have a total ass whooping here.
Mm-hmm.
Pirates of the Caribbean destroyed Aquaman. You did it, Captain Jack. You are the champion. Victory horn for Captain Jack Sparrow. That's right.
You are the worst pirate I've ever heard of. But you have heard of me.
So good. If you just tuned in, you missed the show, or if you're ever unable to catch us on Friday nights, you can go to wherever you get your podcasts, and you can get this podcast, download it, and listen to us. We'll have an episode out every week. come back to the channel, youtube.com/Clint Baker channel, and check out all the stuff we have to offer, because we're always working on stuff for you guys. We appreciate you guys. In the description, we've got Patreon information. If you want to donate to the channel, we would really appreciate it. That keeps the lights on. There's software, subscriptions, there's hardware, all kinds of things that go into putting this stuff together that cost money. And and thank you to the patrons that are in the chat right now. Your contributions actually just paid for some software that helps me put this show on. So I really appreciate it. And we appreciate all you guys taking time out of your day, hanging out with us every week, and we hope we see you next week. Curtis, I appreciate you hanging out with me and joining me on this adventure. And guys, if you missed it, the winner once again of Versus is Captain Jack Sparrow in Pirates of the Caribbean. Woo! Guys, thanks again, and we're going to see you next Friday on Versus. So be sure you hit that subscribe button, click the notification bell, and we're going to see you guys next time.